Hi, welcome back to the Truth Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Courtney, known as the Truth Doctor, a licensed therapist, and today I'm reacting to episode 7 of HBO's The Last of Us. Here we go. Now you better just show me right away that Joel did not die. That's better be how we're starting this off.
Leave.
Shut up, Joel.
Take the gun.
Joel, shut the fuck up!
Go. You go.
One, he's alive. We're good. We're off to a good start. We know Joel to be a man that feels like he is now a danger to everyone that he's ever cared about, everyone that he's loved, and Ellie. He tried to leave her or have her leave him and go with Tommy. And now he's in a predicament where he can't save himself, but Ellie can save herself and maybe him if she leaves him. There were two things. One was that single teardrop going down Joel's face. And the other one was the way that Ellie stared at Joel before she left. When we look at people like that, we are either usually making a memory or remembering something. Our brain is processing and acknowledging and creating. The brain is actively doing something in those moments where we are in awe, where we are in shock, where we are in fear. And in that moment, for the both of them, it was likely a combination of all of the above. It's a culmination of everything that led up to that moment, the potential for everything that could happen in the future, and the similarities between Joel having his biggest trauma be the fact that he never wanted to be separated from his daughter, Sarah, and that was not an option. That was not a choice. That was something that happened to him. And now he's having to make the decision to lose another daughter-like figure in order to try to save that daughter-like figure, that is Ellie. And for Ellie, she has always wanted to be able to be in control and to be on her own. And at the same time, she's looking for connection because she's 14. Not only is she looking for some type of caregiving connection so that she feels generally safe, which is something that she's never had, she's also just looking for general connection and peers. And Joel has fulfilled both of those roles for her. And so this is likely an extremely devastating and very difficult decision that she's going to have to make. Both of them, in a way, are trying to decide, what do I risk and what am I worth and what is the next best thing to do? A Walkman. If you were alive for Walkman, put it in the comments. I was. That probably ages me, but I don't care.
Oh, give it back! Then pick up your pace. I'm not running doubles again because of your shitty attitude. You don't fight, just your friend fights.
Ooh. Oh. Can you see how excited I am? We are finally getting insight into Ellie's history. Yes, this is pretty badass. Okay, first thing is that bully says you don't fight, your friend fights. And that puts Ellie in a situation of being weaker, of being submissive, and of being somebody that can't take care of herself. Flash forward to her relationship with Joel. Over and over and over again, I feel like I say that all the time, over and over and over and over and over and over. Joel is in charge. Joel fights. You can't have a gun. You stay behind us. We're only going to give you limited information. When we are developing and we go through experiences in our lives that put us in our place, whether we're supposed to be there or not, and we don't want to be there because it makes us feel weak, we remember that. And so it's likely that somewhere deep down, and this could not be the case, but it likely is supposed to be the case based on how this is written, that experience of whoever this person is that they're talking about. I'm kind of hoping it's Riley because there's just been this little Riley bubble sitting in my brain. They're monumental experiences that we have as we're growing up with these relationships that we have with either our peers or our family or authority in general. And we learn lessons. We get lenses and schemas and perspectives that we view ourselves in the world through. In the principal's office, quote unquote, principal's office.
Bethany started it.
Bethany.
Bethany's in the infirmary with 15 stitches.
Good.
Okay.
Just put me in the fucking hole.
I put you in the hole 3 times. It doesn't work.
Why do you even care?
I care because no matter what anyone out there says or thinks, We're the only thing holding this all together. So which way?
So which way? The way that that captain looked at the picture of his family right after Ellie asked, "Why do you care?" I don't know if any of you caught that, and maybe I'm making it up in my head, but I'm pretty sure that that is what happened. I think what they're really trying to depict here is this theme that I've seen in actually the last 4 shows, that not everyone is bad and not everyone is good. We talked about it in Euphoria, we talked about it in Arcane, and we talked about it in Wednesday. And we see it here now too. There have been so many things that have been said about Joel, for example. There are ways that people could see Ellie. There are ways that people could see every character in this show. Fedra has been one of the largest antagonists in this series. They are the people who raped and murdered people, according to Henry. We have that officer that was given a command that was told to shoot and kill both Joel and Sarah. There are many instances of Fedra being the bad guys. And for many people, they are. At the same time, we see this other side of Fedra. They showed it a little bit when they showed that officer that compassionately took the life of that little boy who walked into the Boston QZ a couple episodes ago. And now they're showing it with a captain who's trying to encourage Ellie to be an officer because she's the future. He's trying to make a difference and help the people in the community. And not every group of people are going to be homogenous. They're going to be different. Not everyone is 100% something. Not every group of people is 100% something or 100% something else. It's the most childlike childhood she's gonna get. That knife.
Ow. Riley, where have you been?
Riley! One, I'm glad it's Riley. Okay. It's certainly not going the way I thought. And that was a scary scene, having Ellie in the dark, someone sneaking in through her window and covering her mouth. I'm glad it's not that. I'm glad that it's not that. Let's continue.
How's it going? Okay, it's bad.
I thought you were dead.
Not good.
I've been gone for 3 weeks. If you're going through some shit, you're supposed to, I don't know, talk to your best friend about it.
Riley was her best friend.
I joined the Fireflies.
Oh, fuck you.
So yes.
I'm not going anywhere with you. It's great. It's 2 a.m. and in a few hours I have drills where we learn to kill fireflies. Turn around.
You're so weird about that. You trust me, right?
Trust me.
I don't know. Should I trust you?
Of course you should, with your life.
One thing that I want to point out is just how much they've shown Ellie's desire to stay connected to sentimental objects or situations from the past that she never got to experience. We see that she wants the Walkman back from the captain before she leaves. We see that knife that's sitting there on the counter. And I remember in a prior episode when Joel stepped on the knife and she was freaking out about it because she wanted it back, and how interested she was when she entered Joel's apartment in a former episode and she was just looking through everything and wanted to know about the music. And having that puns book be not only something that she was interested in with Joel and that she experienced with Joel, but also something that we see sitting on the counter right there that she had in her essentially past life before the series happened as we know it. She's trying to hold on to the good experiences, the recreational experiences, the entertainment experiences that you should have growing up as you develop, so that you experience a broad spectrum of emotion and a broad spectrum of experiences that allow you to not only see the world as a fragile, frail, frightening place.
The 7-Eleven situation.
No, thanks. I'd like to keep my other eyebrow in one piece.
Well, since you're so interested in self-preservation, all of a
What?
sudden, maybe
What happened during that? Did I miss that?
You put Carol in the infirmary for a fucking week.
I'm just saying you can't fight everything
Riley is a
and everyone.
fighter.
You can pick and choose what's important. No,
Lots
this-
of
this
hallway
guy was in here
scenes in this series. Maybe because hallways are like a path that you're on, and there's a bunch of different options of places that you can choose from of where to go. Because we see that as a theme over and over again. We see people having options, people needing to make choices, and everybody really being on a path towards needing to make a decision at some point. Am I onto something here or no? Let me know in the comments below if that makes sense to you.
Told him he couldn't mix pills with that shit.
I think he knew what he was doing. Was that the first dead body you ever saw?
No. My parents.
Yeah, sorry. I know. I mean, I knew that.
No, it's fine. He kind of made me swear not to let other people handle my sidearm.
Not to handle my sidearm because I'm such a fucking firefly.
Give me your gun.
All right, fine. And she asked what I thought about Fedra. So I told her the truth. They're fascist dickbags, and they're the ones that should be getting hanged for their crimes, not the people.
I mean, I don't know if it's that simple. Like, in a way, Fedra kind of holds everything together.
It's so similar. It is so similar. That exact conversation that they were having with Ellie wanting Riley's gun and Riley giving it to her for just a second and then wanting it back. She is engaged in a very similar relationship with Joel in the present day. And it is a very similar situation, especially when it comes to trying to figure out who's good and who's bad. We can see Ellie having these types of conversations with Riley too, and trying to figure out what it is that's really going on in her own mind and the mind of the people around her. Of who are the good people? Is it Fedra? Is it the Fireflies? Is it the Resistance, like we saw with Kathleen? And it really depends. We can also see that she really is experiencing what many typical teenagers experience: sneaking out with your best friend, climbing through windows, drinking alcohol that you found from someone else. She's living. She's having this experience that many kids would have. The problem is that she's having this experience in a very different world with far, far more dangers.
More people in QZ, so more apartments.
So Fedra's not entirely bad.
Fascist dickbags, starving their own population.
Fireflies blowing up the storage depot didn't help.
Propaganda bullshit.
Yeah?
Oh, wow. Oh, her face.
Wait, the lights. We're fine. You saw outside. It's like a big bunker. No one can see shit but us. Just me and you.
That scene reminded me so much of my 4-year-old toddler. Ellie is so excited. She is elated. She is in awe. She is in shock, positive shock. At one, how beautiful the mall is, and two, just the aliveness. I think that that's such a big part of it is, yes, it's run down, and yes, there's no other people, but it's still so much more alive and vibrant than the world that she has been raised in. There is such a big difference between being born, let's say, in this world, but if it wasn't a post-apocalyptic world, meaning that there is something to compare this life to. And we can see that Ellie is holding on to the remnants of a world that she never knew. You can see it on her face that there has been this space within Ellie that has been waiting for a moment like this, that's been hopeful. And so it matters that Ellie has a space for this type of experience, because someone else could be standing there and they could experience a full rejection. It could have gone straight to, she goes, what about the lights? It could have been, turn it off right now, turn the lights off. This is dangerous. I'm leaving. Let's get out of here. But there is value to these experiences for Ellie. There is value and hope. And this is what makes this moment able to be the type of moment that it was for Ellie. Ooh, back in 5 minutes. Wow. That reminds me a little bit of the pandemic, where we're like, 2 weeks working from home, and it ended up, I'm still working from home.
What?
Nothing. I was just trying to imagine you wearing that.
Shut up.
They have not shown that before. Insecurity?
Open your eyes.
Wow.
No way.
Yep.
This song. Wow, I'm like making me so emotional for some reason. She loves her.
Oh, come on.
Yes, come on.
Let me see if I
Just
can
let this
fix
go on forever. Let this heaven be forever.
You know, you're the one thing I miss from that fucking place. If that makes a difference.
Okay, yeah.
She
Okay,
loves how
okay,
close she is.
I got you.
What is it? I mean, that compared to what they see in the outside world,
This is the most beautiful thing
Yep.
I've ever seen.
knowing that this is in the back of Ellie's mind is, and actually knowing that this is in the back of everyone's mind who lived pre-apocalypse is devastating. There is a pretend emergency broadcast because Mars is attacking. There are car races that just go in circles. And now they are driving cars and trying to run people over, or there are actual invasions of infected and coming up out of the ground. These are remnants of a world where we could talk about these things and experience these things in a really similar way that we are actually experiencing The Last of Us. I was recently interviewed for a news article where I answered questions about why people were so interested in these types of shows, what we get out of them, why we enjoy them, why we become obsessed with them. And the three reasons that I gave were: one, we are able to experience the fear and the anxiety in a safe place. We are able to be distracted from a potentially mundane and boring life and get to actually immerse ourselves into this type of life. And we get to learn about what it is that we may or may not do in these types of situations, which is why I also ask you in this episode and in prior episodes, what would you do? What do you think? But what's also devastating in the context of The Last of Us and these characters is that they are not able to experience these things that we see in arcades and in video games in a lighthearted, fun, safe way. The reality is that what's behind these screens in this arcade is also right outside the walls of this mall.
You ready?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. I used to play that at Nickel Nickel when I was like 11.
I've been here a few times.
So you don't wait to do everything with me.
What? Why are they doing this? Come on. Come on.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Next thing.
oh. Ooh, that tension is there, and I am here for it.
Yeah, I just can't get in trouble again. But I'll be here tomorrow.
We each have this level of protection that can be conscious. We can make a choice to act this way. And most often it's unconscious. It is a self-preservating defense mechanism that's automatic, where when we feel like we expressed an emotion and someone shut it down, either on purpose or we expressed an emotion and it was just generally shut down because of the context, the circumstances, or the situation itself, we will want to remove ourselves from the situation. We will deny the emotions that we're having, or we will tell the other person or the other situation to change. And this is the third time in this situation where Ellie has not necessarily been shut down, but has been shut down. And she's at the point where she's ready to go. Same thing with Joel. Same thing with Joel. You leave. I don't want this feeling. Well, and I want you to be safe. Like, I don't want this feeling of guilt. I care about you too much. Like, this is too hard for me with that tear falling down. I don't want to experience this deep, deep pain again. So you leave. And then we have Ellie, who is in a different situation, yet similar, and is like, I'm going to leave. It's protection. It's defenses. It's not wanting to be hurt. It's really just not wanting to be hurt.
Got you a gift.
Oh. I mean, I do like gifts.
Mostly.
She's been staying by herself.
Ta-da! Volume 2.
Wow.
Shut up! You made a second one?
Puns have so much relevance.
What do you call an alligator?
Bombs?
Did you make these?
Ellie, I'm leaving. They're sending me to
Oh,
a
she
post
stayed and now she's leaving.
Tonight's my last night in Boston.
Oh, everyone I've ever cared about or that's loved me has left.
And I wanted to say goodbye. This isn't easy, Ellie.
It actually is. You just did it.
Of course, she cares so much about Riley. And we knew that Ellie cared this much about Riley before we even met her. When Marlene says what she says,
Terrorist? Was Riley a terrorist?
we can see the reaction on Ellie's face when Riley's even brought up. So the fact that Ellie was going to leave, she already was going to leave because she didn't want to be hurt. She stayed, she got hurt, she left, then she turned around and went back. This is very similar behavior to what we saw with Joel when he was like, I'm not your dad. You're not my daughter. We are going our separate ways. And he goes to try to steal a horse to escape and ends up 30 minutes later still being there, wanting to have a potential relationship with Ellie if she's open to it. I can't wait to see what it is that's actually going to happen because we know that Ellie ends up without Riley at some point.
Riley!
Good timing.
What the fuck? Give me the book.
She wants the gift.
And you give me this night. This amazing fucking night. And now you're leaving again.
I think that you don't know everything. They chose me. I mattered to them.
You matter to me first.
There's something about what Riley just said, that the fireflies chose her and that Ellie wouldn't understand. We see now how when Joel and Ellie chose each other, there became an instant lightness, like I mentioned in the last episode. You know, they've both chosen each other. So I think that's why they're emphasizing this lightness. That feeling of being chosen by someone can be monumental. It's something Ellie now understands. Also, it makes sense Riley would choose the fireflies over Fedra.
You don't know what it was like to have a family, to belong.
Family is so important to humans. Family, connection, being a part of a group is one of the basis of who we are as a species. So when we lose that, we will search for that anywhere we can find it. And the fireflies likely showed Riley empathy in a way that Fedra never did. And that's why she turned towards them, even if it meant losing Ellie.
And I'm not saying it all busy and shit.
Oh, yeah, she accepted it.
You're my best friend. And I'll miss you. Don't go.
Okay.
Oh my God, chills. Oh my God. I mean, listen, stop it. Stop it. Stop doing this. I can't even believe I'm going like this. Like, I am just not pleased. What is about to happen? Okay, let's process real quick. That was such a beautiful experience. The way that Ellie's hands went like this for a moment by her side was so cute. It was like a yes kind of feeling. And then their laugh, it's like this laugh that comes along with a parasympathetic activation of like we both had this wall up and we're pretending to just be best friends for so long. It's a relief. And we have to address that smile and everything that could have been happening during that smile in real life. When you have your first kiss, it isn't just a checkbox. It isn't just an experiential thing that happens interpersonally between you and the other person. It's physiological. You and your brain and your body and your mind all experience something brand new. And this is something that she's probably been thinking about for a while, because you can tell that she's been in love with Riley for a lot longer than she's made it clear. I'm elated and I'm heartbroken because we know that they're going to do something right now. They're going to do something to make this love story die. And I am not excited about it. It all makes so much sense. But first, look at where she stabbed this infected in the head. It's almost the exact spot that she stabbed that infected that was underneath that rubble in the building that she never told Joel about in that other episode. And now if you think about the reaction that was on her face and the anger that she had, it makes sense, because if this was her first experience with an infected, she's so afraid. You can see that she is so afraid when she's on the ground and the infected is on top of her. And something that I think is important to talk about is just how positive of an experience Ellie and Riley just had. It was something that Ellie had been waiting for so long. It was the tip top of pleasure and connection and love. And those are things that are very rare to come by in this world that Ellie lives in. And so it's important that we try to think about, where was she physiologically? Where was she emotionally, mentally, cognitively? And she just went from the very top of her life experience as a teenager to immediately experiencing one of the largest dangers that exist in the world today for her. People are dangerous, the government is dangerous, and the infected are dangerous. And the infected were the first cause to all of the destruction to come. And this happened within a matter of minutes. So her reaction going to extreme terror makes complete sense. And she went from really high to really low really quickly. And when you experience something like that, it can be so incredibly overwhelming. Please. What? What? Oh, that's when she gets it.
No.
Oh my God, her face even more. She decided not to give up. This is her opportunity to save someone when she couldn't save someone last time. This is Joel. If we compare Riley's response to finding out that she's been bitten to Ellie's response finding out that she's been bitten, it's so massively different. We know that Ellie is an orphan, but that she has never met her parents. And we know that Riley did know her parents and either saw her parents get killed or found her parents' dead bodies. This makes finding out that you're going to die a completely different experience, because you've been introduced to death. And in some way, you've had to grapple with either the idea of death or the fact that death is real and that you could lose people that you care about. Another thing that I think maybe is even the most crucial point to make here is that the way that Ellie's face looked when she found out that she was going to die, think about all the things that might have been going through her head at that time. I thought that this was a safe place. I just had my first kiss with my first love, and now I'm going to die and I don't get to actually experience it, and so on and so on. But then we have Ellie's reaction when she realized that Riley was going to die. It's a very different reaction. If you are a parent, or if you are a partner, if you are a friend and you love another being, you have formed a deep relationship with another being, it can sometimes be harder to find out that they're going to die than you're going to die. And part of that has to do with the fact that then you are there to deal with the grief. And we saw that in the story of Bill and Frank. We saw that when Frank says, "This is my last day." And it's such a difficult day for Bill to go through. So much so, Bill decides to take his own life with Frank.
Father, it's 2 minutes. Or 2 days. We don't give that up. We could just be all poetic and shit and lose our minds together.
Yeah. That grip that they had on one another. After all the scenes that they showed of Ellie pulling away whenever they got physically close, now we see them really coming together, cherishing, acknowledging the reality of their bond, of the love that they have for one another, and knowing that it's fleeting. And this desperation to find something that she can find, it's reminiscent of her past. And we should all be so inquisitive. Obviously, we shouldn't ruminate too long on it, and we shouldn't find ourselves in mind spirals, but we should think about how our reactions physiologically, emotionally, interpersonally are rooted in our past failures, in our past successes, in our worries, in our accomplishments, in our connections, in our disconnection. We are purposeful people, even when we feel as though we are living in a purposeless world, or that we have no ability to change the situation that we're in. We have a drive to survive, and we have a drive to help others survive. And I think this is a lot of what we're seeing here right now with Ellie. Oh. The timing of this is so bad. I can't watch it. Ellie having to stitch up Joel with like a needle, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I have a fear of needles. Okay, back to the show. The last thing to point out in reference to this episode is the way that they held hands, solidifying that feeling of like just enjoying that touch and that sensation and feeling connected to. And we saw hand holding in more than one area of this episode. We saw it at the end, like we are in this together. Thank you. We're family. Like this reunification that was so incredibly beautiful to see. This episode was a really nice slight downturn to what I really believe to be the apex of this season, which was last episode. We kind of reached the peak. We're slowly heading on our way down. But what this did was it solidified again Joel and Ellie, not only them and their storyline in this series, but also their prior storylines coming together and meeting in this moment. We have Joel who told Ellie, leave, and sort of pushes her. And that's just shortly after Ellie does the same thing to Joel. We have him telling her to leave because he doesn't want to lose another daughter, and he doesn't want to be the cause of another daughter's death. Then we have Ellie, who doesn't want to lose another person that she cares about and has felt a bond with. And then we have this closing scene where they're together, they're making another choice to do this thing, to try to save the world, and their stories are fusing now more than ever. We have 2 episodes left. Let me know what questions you have so far. I'll do my best to answer them in the comments. And I'm so glad that each and every one of you exists. See you next Thursday.